Well, according to my class, how I develop a class, first, I like to start with a warming up activity. So, for example, if I'm going to learn a simple present, what I like doing is asking my students, what activities do you normally do? So I ask them and I show you the vocabulary and say, what activities do you do? And I start showing, for example, swim, work, study with some pictures. So in that way, I can give them an introduction to the topic without showing directly the grammar. After that, I start to ask them, what time do you wake up or get up? So say, I wake up at 5 a.m. All right, 5 at 6. I start to ask them some questions. After these questions, this introduction, I start to explain the topic. So, for example, simple present, I say first we have the subject, after we have the verb, and well, I start to explain that we have different subjects, you, we, he, she, it, and well, I explained that, for example, with he, she, and it, it's important to put the S, and I start to explain the rules, what happened when the verbs finish in a K, or the verb finish in a consonant. For example, with speak, it's important that they put S at the end of the verb. So she speaks with S, and she works. Of if the verb finishes in CH, it's important to put ES and the pronunciation of ES. She teaches, or for example, with X, she fixes, he fixes the car. And after I explain, then that is important to put at the end a complement. Well, I explain different kind of a structure, and I explain the interrogative form, the short questions, and then the idea is that they answer some questions and develop an exercise. So I use different materials, use material from some books. I use materials with the use of Learning Apps, Kahoot, Blooket. Well, if it's one-to-one, but I ask a lot of questions. If there are two people in the class or more, the idea is that they can interact between each other. And the idea is that they can correct themselves and say, yeah, my partner said that. And the other said that if it's correct or incorrect, or what things they can correct. And at the end of the class, I like give them feedback. Well, according to my experience with students, I have talked to all the levels. I have talked to children, to teenagers, and adults. The experiences has been interesting. I think each population had different type of challenges. But I have verified that in all population, they like learning with games, with gamification. Of course, the games are different with children. The idea is the interaction, the movement, the games that make them feel happier and more motivated. So they like coloring with children. For example, with children, I remember once I had the opportunity to work with children, and I said, well, we're going to learn the colors, so please draw of the yellow and white and gray. And for example, it was the color of the flag of Colombia. We have to color the yellow, the blue, and the red of the flag. What was the activities? And I remember when I was finishing my career in modern languages, I designed a web page. So in that web page, they had to put in the web page that was designed the description of a plan. So it was interesting. Now, I think with children, you need to be focusing activities of doing things or drawing or coloring. With teenagers, I think that's important to give them activities about things that are common, that are popular in the moment. For example, if the movie is a Disney movie, or if it's, for example, Cars, so it's important. Explain them a topic based on that movie. For example, Cars, or for example, Inside Out 2, that is so famous about emotions. So I say, how do you feel today? I feel depressed, I feel happy. So this type of activities that they like is important to put it into practice in the class, as with the hobbies that they like. So in that way, it's easier to interact with them. So what I normally do the first day of the class is ask them what do they like, what are their interests. So in that way, I can get know each other, and I can know what are the uh, activities that they want, what are their hobbies. And with adults, I have worked gamification games, and it has worked a lot, the explanation of the grammar. And I have asked them if they have any question, they can tell me. This is what it have worked. And of course, try to put it in practice with the vocabulary related to their professional background. If they are engineers, system engineers, or in a class that I had the opportunity to give the last week, I have to design an activity for software engineers. So I found some vocabulary related to this word. So for example, Python, configure, design, programming, this type of vocabulary.